Okay, potentially the final game if I play well. Get the 5-2, which looks to be of ambiguous value here. Actually, it's probably slightly better than otherwise. So we've got Rabble, First Mate, Cursed Village for draw. Maroon trashing cards of two or more types nets you draw. We got a decent number of two-type cards here. No three types, alas. For villages, just Cursed Village. Oh, First Mate's also a village if you line up First Mate with multiple action cards. For plus buy, there is Spices. Artisan can also gain things, and there's a bunch of good fives to gain. Tomb is a nice source of alt VP, just trash a bunch of stuff. And the trashing is Priest or Maroon. Okay. So they have the 5-2 as well. And yeah, this is the main reason I was saying 5-2 looks like it can't be worse, really. Which is probably on the 4-3 open Maroon Silver. And on the 5-2, you can just do Spices, burn both coffers to buy Maroon turn 2. And you basically open Maroon Silver, but your Silver now has plus buy, which is just ever so slightly an improvement on normal Silver. And that's probably what I'm doing here, right? And the other option would just be opening Maroon and nothing, which sounds worse, probably. Well, I found it on top, but without an estate, which is a little bit sad. Where's this deck going exactly? Unclear. Probably play a bunch of Artisans and Cursed Villages. Don't love hitting 4. Don't love hitting 4. I'm behind here. I think I buy a silver here. I don't think I'm buying another silver. I don't want silver that badly. These draws are very bad. Very, very bad. I think I'm guaranteed to hit 5 here, right? Actually, is that guaranteed? Yeah, I got a silver and a spices down there, right? So I could hit 6. There we go. If I hit 5, I buy another spices to guarantee I get 6 soon. I'm pretty sure I'm behind here because I'm down 2-0 in the Cursed Villages. Although perhaps if they struggled to get to Artisan, then I could have a decent shot. Nope, they got to 7. Yeah, I think I'm just behind. Not much to be done here. My Maroons are rather uncooperative today. There are 10 cards in the trash. 2 of them are for me. Not so hot in a game with Tomb. And I'm about to draw the Artisan dead, aren't I? There's a 2/3 chance of that. I don't think I can pass up on trashing an estate, though. What do you buy here? Spices and another Cursed Village? Or maybe Spices and an Artisan looks better? I'm down. Oh no. I didn't even notice that I got diluted last turn. That's a nasty one, isn't it? Well, at least I bottom decked the Artisan, which, when I say it that way, is still not a good thing. But it's better than the outcome of drawing it off of that Maroon. I guess I'll buy another Spices. Ay, ay, ay. So I think I gain a Cursed Village and top deck it here. They keep getting the the hexes that trash stuff from their deck, which is probably a mild nuisance, but it is worth points. I am so far behind. I mean, First Mate is a substitute village of sorts, but it's just way more awkward than Cursed Villages here. And the fact that Cursed Villages are, what, like 5-1 at the moment? Yeah, 5-1 is a bad sign, to say the least. Treasure Trove is an odd buy. I would say for sure that looked like a second Artisan there. I mean, even if you want it, oh, that's annoying. I can still afford Artisan, but that means I have to spend all of my coffers to get it. Yeah, I don't really understand the treasure trove. You don't really need gold or copper in this deck. I don't understand the treasure trove at all. Maybe they just want more junk to trash to their priests, I guess is the idea. And that's one way of scoring points. I am down an egregious number of points. In Kingdoms of Tomb, the victory points are actually a reliable indicator of who's ahead. Not because the points matter early, but because they're a good heuristic of who's doing more with their deck and has gotten thinner. And the answer is certainly not me. Coven is probably fine here. It's non-terminal action that reduces your hand size, and then you can draw back with Cursed Village. Can I draw an artisan off the top? No, that's not good. Nothing is good. I have two artisans on top. Unfortunately, I have no villages down there. Why? Spices and a Cursed Village? Mm-mm-mm. So here I think I'm going to gain maybe a Spices and top deck the second artisan. I still don't understand the double treasure trove at all. I don't think it's going to matter too much. 14. They took the debt. Yeah, I'll gain a Spices. Deck Artisan. My Cursed Village. My deck is still pretty junky. I probably need to add a Priest or something. I'm not sure Poverty's actually an attack here. If they have a Cursed Village in their hand, it could be proactively friendly. If they don't have a Cursed Village in their hand, then it would be a nuisance. Curses are at 2. It is rather unlikely that I win this game. Cursed Village. I don't even know what I gain here. Really nothing particularly good for my deck at the moment. I guess a Priest. Alright, just have a 32-point deficit to make up. No big deal. I guess I should probably add a first mate now, given that I'm behind on the villages. I just need to score 32 points before they gain 3 spices. Well, that's 3 spices right there. Yeah. Sometimes the draws just don't work out. This was one of those games. I was just every single shuffle was a kick in the teeth. All right, 3-2. All right, we got another Rats Kingdom. We will both thrive here, assuredly. What else is going on? Okay, first thing to consider, could you build a deck with Gamble? I think the answer is probably no. In Kingdoms of Gamble, something to watch out for is it might just be possible to play an engine in the buy phase and just gamble through your whole deck every turn if you can get your average card in your deck to make more than 2 money. So here, for example, you could buff up Misers and then gamble through a bunch of Misers and they pay for themselves and let you draw on. The trouble with that deck is what would you be drawing to? There's no plus buy or anything to let you buy multiple things at the end of the turn. Gamble, I mean, you could play an Artisan with that, but there's no way to gain multiple provinces. Wouldn't play well with Vampire because Gamble can't play Vampire. It's not an action or a treasure. And that deck would also have a harder time mixing in other cards for museum purposes. So then what else are we doing? There's just no way, period, to get 2 provinces here in the same turn. And aside from Gamble, there really isn't draw. So I think the goal is probably to be able to do like province per turn while taking some duchies. Upgrading rats into stuff looks pretty nice. Yeah, I don't think this is ever going to come together as a complete engine. I don't know if a stack of Taskmasters is worth it here. Ideally, you could gain a 5 cost of return off of Artisan or Vampire or Upgrade, and then spend your buy buying a province and keep the Taskmasters in play. And Taskmaster would be pretty good because it's money that doesn't take up deck space in a kingdom with no draw. So I could definitely see going for the Taskmasters. The downside is if you don't find one of the 5 cost gainers, you've got to buy a 5 instead of buying a province, which might not be the biggest deal. I think Taskmaster is still sounding pretty good. I think it's reasonable to gain one of the 5s or the other at any point in the game. Later on, that ends up being Duchy. How to open Taskmaster might be premature. I would like to hit 5. How badly would I like to hit 5? Could also just open with rats. I'm a little bit slower to get, maybe silver plus rats. Then I get an upgrade. I've already got a few rats in the deck. I think I like that plan. It could also be raise just to trash the estates early. I'm gonna do silver rats. It's just really hard for me to justify an opening that doesn't involve gaining rats. Okay, this draw, probably not ideal. I think I'm going to gamble once and then buy raise. If it hits rats, I'm happy. If it hits an estate, I'm happy. If it hits silver, it's probably a little bit bad. Copper is fairly neutral. All right, that was good. Means I hit 5 here. And I think probably upgrade before Vampire. I might want Vampire at some point, but upgrading Rats just sounds like a lot more immediate value. Both of them gain a 5. Upgrade play draws 2 cards. I can gain a Vampire later off of Artisan and then play it the same turn, which looks pretty nice. Not the best hand for the raise. Don't see any of my estates yet. Maybe I'll find one here. My hope for the turn was going to be to upgrade a Rats, which still could happen, but would require a fairly specific sequence of draws. Okay, it could happen here. I could draw into the Rats. I have a second one down there somewhere. Nope, didn't happen. I'll just trash a copper. And I think I do want to trigger the shuffle. There's a bunch of good stuff that's out of the shuffle, but I do have an Artisan down there. There's a pretty good argument in favor. Okay, well, I'm gambling here because I have an Artisan on top that I for sure want to play. I should probably leave 1 copper in hand so that I can put Vampire in hand, top deck the copper, and then play the Vampire, I think. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to see first. I'm not playing that. It would just draw my Artisan dead. Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Take a second. Upgrade. Am I still on the Taskmaster plan? They have 2 and I have 0. I should probably also consider whether I want changelings off of rats. I think rat sounds better than changeling on average because it's a good target for upgrades. Obviously, there's the risk of having too many rats. What am I saying? There's no such thing as having too many rats. I'm just going to pop the raise. Another upgrade. Buy another raise. Yeah, I do want, I think I want Taskmasters. I just haven't really had too many turns where I would get Taskmaster. Perhaps I should look out for the opportunity. I'm not sure if I'm behind or not. They have 3 Taskmasters in their deck and 2 in play, which seems good. I mean, a backup plan here that is not unreasonable is just gain a bunch of golds. Like once I've upgraded a bunch of rats into 5s, then I can upgrade the upgrades into golds, and then I hit 8 off of that, and that's fine. And that might be what I do if I end up being low on Taskmasters. Okay, trash of rats. Gain another upgrade, I suppose. Trash a copper, and then trash 1 copper with that. Maybe upgrade the silver into something. There's no 4s I super need this turn. Is there anything I could top deck with upgrade and then benefit from gambling? Like if I played artisan, I said upgrade, I meant artisan. If I play artisan, gain a vampire, put it on top, and then I play the silver and play the vampire off of the silver, it just doesn't work because gamble can't play vampire. But if there's another action card that I would like to play, I could do that. I just don't see another action card that I benefit from playing with artisan this turn. So maybe I trash a copper, top deck a silver, leave a vampire in hand, and trash another copper with the bat. That sounds okay. My rats are clustering together a tad, and hands without my upgrades. I know I've got a bunch of upgrades in this deck, and I know I've got a bunch of rats, and never the twain shall meet. You activated my trap card. Good old rats. Count on you. Still haven't drawn an upgrade yet, but soon. They don't have any victory points, but they clearly have a greater diversity of cards than I do, given their score. There we go. Upgrade is empty. Might just be duchy time. Is there a third pile that's likely to run? I don't think Rats is going to run out because we're basically out of our starting cards. Maybe some third pile could empty. It's not super clear. I think Duchy still looks like a reasonable card regardless. It's just points. I still need a plan for getting up to 8 money at some stage. That does mean that it could be too early for Duchy. I mean, it could be gain a vampire, vampire gains the Duchy, I get in an attack, and then I upgrade the bat into a Taskmaster or something later. They have 3 Taskmasters to play, which is kind of a big deal. I think I'm just going to take a vampire for now. That might just be upgraded into a gold or something. We will see. And yeah, I think the bat is turning into a Taskmaster. Do I want to play this upgrade? I think I might just want to set it aside. I could gain a farm hands, use the farm hands to set aside the upgrade, top deck the farm hands, and buy a raise or something. Could be okay. Maybe I gain a silver and then buy a Taskmaster. That sounds okay. Nothing looks amazing here. Is there a benefit from triggering this shuffle? There's stuff down there that I might care about. Do I want to trash the silver? I don't hate trashing the silver or anything. I'll play the upgrade, see what we draw. Okay, I found the Taskmaster. I could play the Taskmaster this turn, actually. If I play Taskmaster, play Artisan, I do keep it in play as long as I gain a 5 cost. Or maybe I gain farm hands here, set aside the Artisan, play Taskmaster, gain a 5 off the Vampire, and then the Artisan can do something else next turn. Maybe that's better. And the only 5 I can gain is Duchy. Vampire can't gain itself. This looks like a scenario where Duchies are going to run out super fast. But then step 3 is not clear. I don't know what else you'd pile here. This deck doesn't super easily get to Province. I think I'm just going to take another Vampire. Might be crazy. We will find out. Take a Duchy off of this one. Draw Rats. Take a Duchy off of that one. I think I'm trashing the Bat. What's those bottom 2 cards? Don't know. We're about to find out. A Duchy. I think I'll keep that and trash the Vampire into a gold. And buys. Well, maybe that's the. I probably should have trashed the Duchy into a gold and played an extra Vampire to gain an extra Duchy, just because it comes with an extra attack. The downside would be I'd be keeping a Bat in my deck. which is not a huge downside or anything. I can upgrade those later. I think, well, we'll see how many duchies they get. I think winning the duchy split is kind of significant here just because duchies are the easiest points to score. And they have a bunch of taskmasters. So if duchies run out and they're forced to gain vampires that have no good targets anymore, they either have to let their taskmasters fall out of play or gain a bunch of relatively pointless cards to keep them in play. So I think I do like rushing down the duchies. The odds that I hit 8 here still are probably pretty close to 0. Maybe I can gain a silver to hand or something. So I could play Artisan, gain rats to hand, and trash it and gain a duchy. I think I'd rather just play the upgrade and get the bats out of the deck. I don't really benefit from those all too terribly much at this point. And I like the idea of lowering the Taskmaster pile because it's already low. I don't like the idea of having Taskmasters in my deck very much, though. I'm not ahead by enough points to be able to take multiple turns off to just play Taskmasters. But I could like gain one Taskmaster here, Artisan gain a second Taskmaster, buy a Duchy, and then Taskmaster super low. I would love it if I could gain 2 Duchies. Is there any way that is happening this turn? I think that's just impossible, right? I guess conceivably I could gamble and then hit upgrade, which draws into a rats or farmhands or something and trashes that into a duchy. But I don't think it's realistic to get the last duchy, which is a shame. I'd love it if I could get 2 duchies here. Maybe the play was to gain a rats to hand and trash it just for the chance of hitting double duchy, which would have been a pretty big upside if I could do it. So in that case, maybe just a silver is the best card at hitting 5. I like lowering taskmasters though. I think I'm still going to do this. This hand is not amazing, but is somewhat predictable. Yeah, I think if I could have gotten both duchies that turn, I would be in a much better position. As it stands, I'm not sure who's ahead. I think if I got those last 2 duchies, I would definitely be ahead. But I mean, this deck kind of sucks, so the odds that I got 2 duchies that turn maybe weren't that high. They trashed a copper and still have 28 points. So they must have coppers left in their deck. I don't know if I have coppers left. I might not, in which case I'd probably benefit from buying a copper because that's a 2-point copper. I do have enough money to buy an estate, which I'll probably buy first if I have no other money. Or maybe there's a scenario where it makes sense to gamble first and then buy a copper. I do have upgrades down there. I think I got some more upgrades down there, and there might be a case for leaving the farmhands in hand, gambling. If I hit an upgrade, I could turn farmhands into a vampire and then buy a copper. And the upside of that line would be I keep the taskmasters and play one more turn. Do I have both of the golds? No, we both have 1 gold. I probably do want to get more golds in the deck somehow, because hitting province here looks pretty significant and also pretty hard to do. It's bought an estate. I think I am going to leave the farmhands in hand and gamble and see if I can hit an upgrade. The upside's pretty big, the downside's pretty low. There's not too much I would really want to draw into. If I draw into the upgrade, I would just trash the bats, which is slightly worse than this. Okay, so as it turns out, I could have drawn into an upgrade, drawn into a second upgrade. Maybe that would be better than what I did here. So upgrade into gold. Upgrade farmhands into vampire, I think is better just because it keeps those taskmasters in play one more turn. And buy a copper. Don't think I'm playing the bat. Trash to rats. There are 11 rats in the trash and 12 missing from the supply. I don't think I have a rats left. That's probably 1 more rats in their deck. Rat still looks like a pretty good card. Gaining vampires isn't a super big deal or anything, but it does keep taskmasters in play, and you draw cards off of trashing rats. Ooh, that's a big deal. They got a province that turn. I'm diluted, which probably doesn't matter too much. They can't keep their Taskmasters in play because there's no 5 left the Vampire can gain. Unfortunately, they got the province before the Taskmasters got out of play. I thought that was probably my biggest potential upside this game was undoing their little Taskmaster thing they had going, and I didn't manage it in time. Okay, let's start with an upgrade. I really need to get a province ASAP. I think I'm going to do what? Probably trash Taskmaster into a farmhands and set aside a copper. Or maybe I set aside the upgrade and buy a silver or something. Or even a changeling is worth some points. The trouble is, I don't think there's a reasonable way to get a 5 into my deck this turn. So I'm about to lose both of these Taskmasters. And I need to take a points lead ASAP or the Taskmaster pilot becomes a very real threat. So I think I'm going to trash that, gain a farmhands. And which of these makes me more likely to hit 8? Probably setting aside the copper. If I had rats down there, then upgrade could be beneficial, but I don't think upgrade's helping me as much. So I think I'm just going to set aside a copper and buy an estate. And this don't look like 8 money. I'm only down 2 points. They've trashed their last rats. Possibly I could get a points lead without a province. I have 5 money already, counting the copper. But I don't think it's possible to draw into 3 more money, even if I find the artisan that only gains me a silver to my hand at best. That hurts. That hurts unreasonably much. I don't like that you've done that. Probably I'm discarding upgrade and duchy. And then I buy another farmhand, setting aside the Taskmaster again. Or I play the Taskmaster, buy another vampire, and then play this vampire and gain an investment or something. On the upside of buying vampires, I get a Taskmaster to play for next turn. The trouble is I've only got the 1 gold in my deck, and I don't think I'm hitting 8 on a turn where I don't have this gold. So probably keeping the Taskmaster in play just in hopes of hitting 8 is not a reasonable goal. I wouldn't mind keeping upgrade plus Taskmaster in hand and trashing the Taskmaster into a 4-cost card. Yeah, maybe I just do Duchy Vampire, keep the Vampire around for the next shuffle, trash the Taskmaster into a 4 and buy another 4, which scores me like 4 points. It's all ugly. I could keep the Vampire in hand, trash upgrade, so I trash Taskmaster. But I'm hitting 1 money. I was going to say I could buy a raise, but that's not true unless I draw money. What did I gain last turn? Farmhands. I don't like this poverty attack. I think the vampire has potential value, so I think I'm just going to do it this way, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to need to keep track of how many vampires and bats I have, because that could matter in the end game for museum points. Okay. Taskmaster into rats. Gain an investment in top deck it and buy a miser. Or maybe top decking rats is better. I'm not sure what card I'd most want to have on top. For sure, trashing the Taskmaster, that much is clear. I suppose I could gain another farmhands, set aside the gold, top deck a silver, and then I've got 5 money already for sure next turn, but like, my deck kind of sucks. The odds that I hit 8 off of that are not actually that big. I think it might just be more imperative that I take a bunch of the. The trouble is, I could gain 3 4s this turn, and that would give me a slight points lead. But then I think I am close to capped out on museum points, right? I could still gain, like if I got miser rats investment this turn, I could still get 1 point off of a curse and 1 point off of, or 2 points off of changeling, and I think maybe a raise. There's still some stuff to gain, but they'll eventually gain all that stuff too. And then I think I'm just in hot water if I don't ever gain a province this game. Does setting aside gold and top decking a silver give me a realistic chance of hitting province? That is just not clear to me that it does. I could top deck the gamble into it and buy another silver. Sorry, top deck the investment, I meant. Gamble into it and buy a silver. That would give me 2 4-cost cards. I think I still like taking the points lead more than anything. Top deck the rats. Buy an investment. It trashed an upgrade. Intriguing. Perhaps that's correct. I don't know what their hand looks like. There are only 3 bats in the pile. That's not something you see every day. 4 of them are in the trash. Now there's 4 bats in the pile, so there's 2 bats between our 2 decks. There's one of them. Should be a little bit careful about trashing bats. I don't really want bats in my deck, but it is 2 points. I am most inclined to turn upgrade into another gold, and then I might just be buying nothing this turn. I could also play the rats, trash the bat. I honestly don't know who has the other bat, but probably more likely to be them. Yeah, they played a vampire. So they've got the other bat. Seems pretty clear from turn 14. So if I trash the bat, I lose 2 points. I could buy a curse to be back up to equal on points. But then the upside of that is now I have 2 rats on my deck, and then I could trash a rats and still have a rats, and then have vampire in my deck, and I could gain the bat back later. That might be an improvement. I do like having rats in the deck. Yeah, and I got a Dutch off top, so that was good. Okay. What a lovely hand. Nothing wrong with this hand. You got another province? Okay, now my goose might just be entirely cooked. That's not good. That's not good at all. I do have a copper in my deck, right? No, maybe I don't have a copper yet. There's a turn I was considering buying a copper. I bought a state instead. Oh, no wonder my poor miser has nothing to do. All right. Well, I should have bought a copper last turn. Oh, I did. I do have a copper on my deck. What? I don't know anything. The good news is that hand sucked, and this hand sucks. All of which is raising the chance that maybe I hit like 2 golds and a silver next turn, and I get a province. And if I get a province, I'm perhaps back in this game. The big trouble is that Taskmaster pile. I'm not sure how fast they could realistically lower Taskmasters, but it is not. Certainly, it is quite reasonable they could do 2 in a turn. And if they take 2 Taskmasters here, I think I'm probably dead. Because then they just have to gain 1 more. Okay, well, I guess that's the sort of turn we're having at this stage of the game. Maybe my hopes are not so dashed quite yet. That might be my last Taskmaster. I had 4 of them at some point. And I've trashed 2. So I could still trash this Taskmaster, which I think I might want to do. There's not really a benefit to playing it. I could upgrade the upgrade, and certainly I want golds, but like I need to get province ASAP, so the gold that's in my discard pile isn't actually all that valuable right now. So I think I like upgrading the Taskmaster into a farm hands and setting aside the upgrade, and then if I hit a rats in my starting hand, then that's extra draw. And I do have 2 rats down there, so yeah, I think I like this play the most. Do I want to buy copper? Clearly already have copper, so I think the answer is no. I mean, I could always... Yeah, I don't think copper is a positive card in this deck. It's not entirely clear that it's not. We're at the state of the game where a copper could be an improvement. But I specifically need to hit 8. I don't think copper's helping me hit 8. Okay, well, I'm happy I set aside the upgrade. I have 4 money in hand. I still need to draw into 4 more money, which is a lot. Even just finding the gold won't be enough. Need to hit like gold and the artisan or something, or gold and a copper. The upgrade draws something particularly useless, which in my deck is certainly a possibility. Then I could turn the Taskmaster into a farmhand, set aside the gold, and take another shot at it next turn. Problem with that is that's my last Taskmaster, and I can't really afford to lower the pile. Uh-oh, did they just have the win? They might just have the win this turn. They might also just be lowering Taskmaster by 1 or 2 here, which is not unreasonable given their position. Gambling. No! These vampire attacks have been unreasonably brutal. I guess I'll top deck an estate. That could potentially be another vampire in hand. And so if they get hit with like Locust or something, I think estate's the least bad card to lose. That vampire attack might have just sealed the deal. Yeah, this is fat load and nothing. They have to. I mean, they could fail to hit 3 next turn. Cannot rule that out. I'm just spinning my wheels trying to hit 8 and failing. Here, I think probably the best. It's like I could play Taskmaster Gold and buy a farmhand, setting aside an upgrade, which makes some sense because I have 1 more rats down there. If I trash my last rats, I'm also losing 2 points. The other option would be playing the upgrade, trashing the Taskmaster, also loses me 2 points. But then I can set aside the gold, which increases my chance of hitting Province. Again, this is assuming they fail to hit 3, which probably less likely than not, but could happen here. Downside, of course, is playing the upgrade draws me a card, and I might draw a gold or something off the top, which could be bad. I want to play the upgrade. Don't really want to draw that either. And the odds are still 0% that I hit 8 here, right? There's a gold in those bottom 5. But like even if I trashed the estate and played the upgrade and drew the gold and then trashed the duchy, first off I'd be losing oodles of points. But also that wouldn't get me to 8. Gotta point out, my bottom 5 cards, I'm pretty sure are like most of the best cards in my deck. Unless I'm making this stuff, I've got like Artisan Gold Silver down there or something. Yeah, I shuffled my deck. Then I drew Duchy, Rats, Miser, Investment, Farmhands. Then I drew Curse, Double Duchy, Double Upgrade. Then I drew 1 gold. So really, I just need 1 more turn. I might need to set aside something then still. Yeah, like Artisan Gold, Silver, and Rats, I think, are 4 of the bottom 5 cards. I could be off base there. That sounds right to me. So I think if I trash the Taskmaster, gain a farmhands, set aside the gold, do nothing with the upgrade, and then they just entirely pass their turn, I'm threatening to gain a I was going to say I'm threatening to gain a Taskmaster and hit 8. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I would have 2 golds and a silver, I believe. So I think this puts me in a position where I could win if they just totally whiff. Ooh, and I can turn this farmhands into a changeling, which is certainly worth doing at this stage. Please. Please miss. I don't have a silver. What happened to my silver? Did I just never have a silver? Okay, well, it didn't matter. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I really wish I could have gotten more of the duchies. I did get a majority of the duchies. I wish I could have gotten the duchies faster, I guess was the way to phrase that. I was really hoping to shut down that Taskmaster thing they had going, because the Taskmaster looked good, but I was just not getting them early. I don't think I had the draws for it. And so I think it made sense to go for the duchies, and then if I manage to get their Taskmasters out of play a little bit sooner, or get 1 more duchy or something, I think I'm in a good spot. They've got those provinces. I never hit 8. That last shuffle was also kind of sad. Also, do I just not have a silver? How do I not have a silver in this deck? I was definitely under the impression that I had a silver in my deck. You know what? I did have a silver. I opened with a silver. I must have trashed it at some point. I don't know, maybe one of their vampire attacks hit it, or maybe I upgraded it and just forgot that I did that. I definitely opened with a silver, so I understand why I thought I had a silver. Whoopsie daisy. Yeah, so I don't love that I'm 3-3 already. One of those games I think was just, unwinnable game based on the draws. You got to factor in for at least one of those. This last game, probably a combination of apparently me misplaying with the silver thing and also just not getting things together in time. The first game probably was more so on me than on my draws. Okay. Final game. Play order will be random. Have you player one, please? I can. That's good news. What have we got here? Okay, this looks like a kingdom where hitting big numbers will get you good places real quickly. A lot of nice things at 5 and 6 that will get the deck going. We got Academy is often close to unlimited actions, so that'll be good. For draw, looks like it's mostly Catacombs. Steward is also draw. Captain playing Steward is like a wharf that compares less favorably to Merchant Ship. We also have Wealthy Village for villages. Flagship can replay a bunch of stuff. Flagship on Captain won't replay the Captain because Captain is also a command card. It'll replay whatever Captain plays. Yeah. Looks like the name of this game is Spiking 5 really fast. And 6. 5 and 6. I mean, there are good trashers here, like Steward will get you thin pretty quickly, but I think that is not the top priority. I think the top priority is hitting 5 and 6 quickly. So how to open? I think I like Flagship. I'm considering Flagship Silver, Flagship Steward. Flagship Steward has the downside that they could both collide. We do have a Necropolis in the starting deck, so if they collide, there's still a reasonable chance that you also have a Necropolis in your hand, and then that hand is fine. Flagship Silver it's like opening double silver when the flagship gets itself out of your deck, and then you get to double play whatever the first 5 cost card or 6 cost card you buy is. I think I'm liking Flagship Steward. Seems a little bit more flexible. Herb Gatherer Silver also wouldn't be crazy. That has the high rule of you find Herb Gatherer, you play the silver, you hit like 5 or 6, turn 3, and then you shuffle the 5 back into the deck. Okay, this draw. They went with Steward Silver, which seems fair. So I have a chance of having a good draw down there. If I have Flagship Necropolis Steward in hand, that's like definitely going to hit 6. What do I buy here? Steward's not me a bad card here for playing with Captain. I'm not sure I really want him in my deck all that badly, so probably just a silver. Herb Gatherer is probably over terminaling myself for the time being. Yeah, I probably want a silver at some point for like wealthy village purposes, maybe. I think silver's better than nothing. Okay, this draw is probably fine, I think. Didn't get the big. I'm not even sure whether I wanted to hit 5 or 6 here, to be honest. I would have had to cross that bridge if I hit 6. I'm not sure if Captain was the best buy. It's certainly something on the table to buy on 6, but it might not be better than just buying like a treasure or something, or even a Academy. I think Academy might be premature. I don't need the actions that much yet. I don't know, maybe. What about Academy now? Play the Steward next turn. Probably hit 5 with some junk in hand, and then buy a Souk and trash, and then I get a Villager, and I go from there. Academy followed by Souk sounds reasonably good. The downside of buying, say, Treasurer here is I double play that Steward that's on the bottom. I run the risk of drawing into the Treasurer. Yeah, I think I'm just going to buy Academy. I think this hand was pretty likely to get me to 5 again anyway. And the biggest downside of buying Academy first is you might just miss. They bought 4A. I am thoroughly annoyed by that. I don't think that's at all correct. You had 6 money in hand, and you thought the best thing you could gain was a single loot. That is clearly not correct. But they got Spell Scroll, which converts itself into either of the other 6s, which just looks better, or one of the 5s. I guess if you knew Spell Scroll was on the top, then all of a sudden 4A looks better. I think 4A looks pretty bad there otherwise. Okay, what do I do here? The top 5 cards have 4 coppers and a hovel, right? Sounds right. So if I trash 2 here, I kill the Overgrown Estate, and I probably trash the Necropolis as well, just because there'd be a risk that I draw hovel otherwise. And then I hit perhaps 5, more likely 6. I still have 4 bad cards on top. I could buy a Captain, which sounds pretty good. Or I could just take +2 cards, hit big number, and then buy Souk from that hand. I think I like trashing. I mean, this gets me the upside of the Souk line anyway, but lets me buy a better card, and then I can maybe buy a Souk later. And yeah, I think it's Captain for the time being, and then I'll probably add a sack of loot later. Oh my god. I totally forgot about this, but on top of everything else, Spell Scroll has this synergy with Treasurer. I don't know that you want Alton Treasurers right now. Maybe they want Alton Treasurers, but you can just loop this forever. I am so thrilled. I'm entirely confident 4 was not a good buy, and they just hit like the best loot out of 30 off top. I mean, out of 15. There's 2 copies of each. I don't think I like taking all the treasures yet. I mean, maybe that's the play. Now your deck has a bunch of treasures, which is going to be like they could hit a province consistently, like the rest of the game here. Okay, I think I draw here. I got 6. I think I like Sook trashing 2 cards. Could be sack of loot. I think I do care about getting thin. Yeah, I think I just want to make sure I get deck control quickly. And then what am I doing this turn? Also unclear. I think I like Captain as Ironworks, gaining another flagship, play the flagship, and gain an maybe buy Catacombs. Can't get a treasure because all the treasures are gone. I guess that's one upside of taking L10 is I would take a treasure here if I could, but I can't. I think the other option here could have been like spend a villager, flagship first, play the captain, play herb gatherer. I would double play the herb gatherer. I could play. No, I didn't even buy a sack of loot. Had I bought a sack of loot last turn, maybe I could do like sack of loot silver and stuff. But I think deck control is more important here. Let's gain a flagship, play this, and buy a catacombs. Okay, this hand looks pretty good, I think. Flash 2 cards with Steward off of Captain, play Flagship Sook, and I get like 19 money, if I'm not mistaken. I can gain the spell scroll, play it, it'll be back in the trash. They're surely going to have another treasure in their hand. Yeah. Highly unfortunate. Highly unfortunate. I wonder if they have a win in hand this turn. Is there some like autopilot with Ironworks or something? Probably not quite yet. They can take like 3 provinces here, maybe 4, maybe more. I don't know how many treasures they have left. Yeah, that's game. That's game right there. And they should just buy 5 provinces probably. They're gonna hit at least 8 at a bare minimum, probably double next turn. And I am multiple turns from coming back. I hit a big number here, but I need to hit like 34. I'm hitting like 19, I think, is what I counted. Steward trashes 2, flagship will play Sook. I make 19 money. I don't think there's much to be done here, is there? Like I'm not sure what a better turn would look like, even if I was trying to spike some bigger number this turn. 19 is a lot. So I think I got to take that, and then like I don't know what my hope is. Even if they did, my next hand's not phenomenal. I got a steward down there. What else is down there? 3 more copper is a steward. The catacombs. That's a good card. I don't know what that last card is. Yeah, I've trashed 4 cards. Do I have a silver? I don't think so. I do have a silver. I bought a silver turn 3. Okay, there we go. So it's 3 coppers. Steward Catacombs. Yeah, that's not doing anything. I don't think I can just buy a bunch of duchies here or a bunch of provinces and hope that they will. Like if I bought, it just seems incredibly unlikely that they don't buy at minimum 1 province. Pretty likely they buy 2. Not unreasonable that they buy like 4. They start doing the like treasure spell scroll combo with a good hand. They're gonna have 7 cards in hand. All of this I think is for naught. Oh, you know what? I'm actually misinterpreting how this is gonna work anyway. I kept talking about flagship double playing the Souk. It's gonna double play the Steward, whether I want it to or not. So I gotta draw here at least once, probably. Yeah. And then I'll trash. So that's not even all that good. Yeah, this is unfortunate. 14 is nothing special. Maybe they draw 4 province. I mean, even 4 provinces isn't a dud. They do have a bunch of other junk. They have trashed a little bit, not that much. Like they have to do like 4 provinces and a bunch of coppers or something. Not super likely. And then I don't know what a win looks like. I play a flagship and flagship the Souk a bunch of times, but I still have a bunch of junk in my deck, so that doesn't make that much money. It's all looking kind of bad. Probably I should buy a second Souk then and get more of this out of my deck. One more Souk, trash 2, buy flagship plus steward. Hmm. Yeah, that's gonna be game. They might just pile out here on wealthy villages. So annoyed right now. This is the second championship in a row where I lost rather early. Um, in large part because of a unwinnable 7th game. Last match or last season, it was Game 7 versus Lemon Spawn, and I had the unfortunate. It was a catapult game, and it was over turn 3. Uh, they just hit the ideal turn 3 hand, and I had like the worst possible turn 3 hand. Uh, and I lost that one. This one might be worse. I'm pretty sure the early 4A buy was just like objectively a mistake, and they just hit the 1 in 15 ideal draw off of that. Plus, finding the spell scroll on the top of that shuffle was also fairly fortunate. Well, I mean, at least one, maybe 2 of those were within my control. I think probably the groundskeeper one I misplayed, and then maybe the rats one as well. The My second loss was definitely unwinnable, and this one was yeah. It seems like they are also pretty aware. But that's how the cookie crumbles. Well, no, no matter what seed I enter as, I've been having a streak of poor fortune. I remember, was it 2 years ago? I remember entering as a low seed and then having a bit of a tough bracket because I didn't ladder enough, and I made sure to enter. I I played a bunch of games, got to the top seed this time, and even that didn't help me. Mm-mm-mm. All right, well that's my run for this bracket. I'm out. Darn.